Hey you guys, welcome back. So I'm doing these just as I have time, and we have another question. So the question is, and I'm going to read it from my computer just so I can see, and I do realize that a lot of you won't be in. You've got Christmas things that you're doing. No worries. This was not scheduled or planned. I just want to film when I have a few minutes, and that's what I have is a few minutes. So the question said, how did you build the confidence to start posting on YouTube? Hey, Tiff, good to see you. So I think one of the things that people really don't realize about me, a lot of people, even myself, right? I'm a shy person. I am an extrovert by nature or an extrovert by situation, if that makes any sense. I'm an introvert by nature, really. I'm perfectly fine being by myself. I'm perfectly fine inside of my home. I grew up as an only child. I never had siblings running around. So I am definitely one of those who does not need the spotlight. Now, I was at an event the other night and I was closing out the event. Somebody gave me the microphone and I closed the event. I was walking off stage and this lady, random lady, I don't know who she was, she walks up to me and she says, whenever they put a microphone in your hand, you command the room. And I was like, oh my God, she'll know me from anywhere. I was visiting a church with my band, with the group I sing with. So she doesn't know me, which is very true. But here's what you have to understand too. I have zero confidence in who I am or my ability, right? I've never put any stock or faith in me because I know with my background and where I came from that I am the least of these. But I do have faith and confidence in the Lord. So when you see me and when you hear me, if you ever have the opportunity to be in my presence, it's not me that you're actually meeting. It is the Jesus that is in me. Paul said, not I, but Christ who lives in me, right? So there it is. Now, going back to 2014, when the Lord told me to get on YouTube, I didn't even realize that YouTube was a thing. I had no idea that social media platforms and anything of that nature existed. It wasn't something that I was into. We probably watched a little bit of TV here and there, but really I was too busy, being a mom, working full time, working on my debt journey. I just was in a place with the Lord. I didn't have a lot of time for a whole lot of rigmarole. I was very focused on this is what I got to do. Raise kids, go to work, go to church. Raise kids, go to work, go to church, right? So when the Lord told me, and this is exactly what he said. He said, Shakema, tell them, if I can do it for you, I can do it for them. And this is right around the time that I started my couponing journey and I was getting really good at it. And right around the time that I was really kind of getting serious about this debt journey. I think I was becoming aware of what I had. I actually was becoming more independent because when I was married, I really put a lot of that on my husband at the time. Just in my mind, gender roles worked. The man took care of the bills and the wife just took care of the house. So I was so used to him doing everything that I've had a learning curve trying to do some things. Now, I am very capable. Do not get it twisted. I'm capable of doing a ton of things. However, I didn't do them, right? I put it in his hands because I never wanted to be seen as a Jezebel wife because I can do things without you. You're not necessary, right? And I never wanted that. So when the Lord said, tell the people, if I can do it for you, I can do it for them. I didn't realize that he was going to take me on this journey of self-discovery, becoming a better woman, becoming a better mom, getting debt-free, becoming a preacher, telling people about the love and joy of God. I did not realize all of that, but God knows my end before my beginning. So he knew all of that. Now, when I first started the YouTube channel, I had a friend of mine come over because she had started a channel. And I said, I need some help. Will you mind helping me? She came over. She gave me one lesson. We set up all the backstage stuff that I needed to do through Gmail and AdSense and all that. And this was before you had to do the 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. This was before any of that stuff came into play. So she got me set up. And I was like, okay, now what? Now what? I have an iPhone 4. I think that's what I had at the time, an iPhone 4. And now I have to film these videos. Well, I didn't have a clue what to film. So I said, okay, God, what am I going to film? Coupon, coffee, Jesus. That's it. Coupons, coffee, and Jesus. I don't even think I was really doing a lot of the budget stuff. I was doing the grocery hauls, sharing what I got with the coupons and how I was able to make something happen on a little bit of money. But the mandate for me was, you got to tell them, Shakema, right? I keep that in the forefront of my mind. I never want to forget what God told me to do. Right? Because if I forget what God told me to do, I'm going to start doing what I want to do. And I don't think that's how my life works. Thank you so much. And you as well. God is just very good and he's very gracious to me. And so I always want to keep God the forefront of my mind, right? I'm not perfect at it because sometimes I get a little perturbed. I was in Walmart today and this man walks around and we all on the bacon aisle. I was picking up something that I need for tomorrow. And this man says out of his mouth, he don't know any of us, all these last minute bakers, y'all gonna be in trouble. And I'm standing there and I said, everybody's got an opinion. I shouldn't have gotten Shakema. No. So sometimes I go there with people, right? Just stop, sir. It's not. If we pick up everything in this store, is it any of your business? It's not. Live your own life, right? Leave us alone. So anyway, what I then had to do was I had to become comfortable with the camera. So I would set up my camera and I would set up I don't even think I had a ring light at the time. I would set up my camera or I would sit it on something. I don't even think I had a tripod. I didn't have any of this. And I only have my phone, a ring light, and a tripod. That's all I got over here. We ain't fancy like Applebee's on a date night, honey, because I wish I was on a date. You know what I'm saying? We just didn't have any of, I didn't know. I didn't know what YouTube was about. I didn't understand the platform. I didn't know, don't play this music or don't play this. I just didn't know. But through the process, I just prayed. I said, God, okay, I don't know what to do. And God was like, okay, do this or go to this place and I'm going to show you. So for the first 18 months, I had 18 subscribers. That was all I had. Big loud in Walmart, y'all. Big loud. Okay, pray for me. But for the first 18 months, I had 18 subscribers because I wasn't really into it. Well, after that 18 months, the Lord had a conversation with me. I remember very clearly. I was in my classroom one day and I was thinking about some situations, circumstances that was going on in the news. I just happened to be in my classroom. It wasn't like I was, I was just in that spot. And the Lord started bringing some stuff to my mind about something that happened in the news. And I was like, oh man, if we don't get this thing together, it's going to be, we just got to get our life together. And the Lord started speaking to me. And it was at that 18th month exactly that God was like, okay, I'm going to need you to get serious about this. And so I sat and I studied. When I say studied, I watched videos on my very first video. I think it was how to edit a YouTube video using your phone. I think that was the very first video I viewed. And then I was using my computer to edit at the time. Well, then all of a sudden my computer started going wonky. So I was like, okay, what's the problem? Whatever. And then I said, okay, I'm going to use my phone. You're not going to thwart me, devil. I'm going to do what God told me. So then I started using my phone. And in every video, you have to get comfortable, right? So I'm going to look at myself, right? I'm looking at myself, but now I'm not looking at you. So when I train myself to look where the camera lens is, now I'm looking at you, but I can't see myself, and that bothers me. So I have to become unbothered with not being able to see me. I have to focus on the people, right? Then I became very uncomfortable doing the live videos because I didn't want people, right? Live videos allow people to do monetary donations if they want to do the super chats. Now that's a feature that's on my channel, but I never wanted anybody to think that I was out here begging people for money, so I wouldn't do live videos. And I was like, nope, they not going to put the bad mouth on Shakema. She just keep doing live videos because she just begging for money. Like half the time I do videos, nobody does a super chat or anything. There have been some and we've been thankful every time, but I didn't do them because I didn't want the backlash. Well, when I started really putting out videos, I prayed and I said, God, I really don't want any drama on my channel. I don't want a lot of fighting in the comments, because I would look at other videos and you would see that stuff. And I said, God, that's just not what I want over here for one mom. That's not even what we trying to entertain. And God has been very gracious. There have been very few, there's here or there, very few where I get people who just come crazy, right? It is what it is. It's social media. Your life is on, is what you put out there. So I have to be okay with that. I learned how to block and bless, folks. You blocked and blessed. You blessed and blocked. Let me bless you first. Then I'll block you, right? So you blessed and you blocked, and it's all good. And then I began to ask God, okay, what do you want me to share? Do you want my children to be involved? Do you just want it to be me? Yes, lovely. What do you need? Yes, I will be. I got time. Thank you, though, for thinking of me. Do I want what? Doesn't matter. Whatever you have. Okay. I'm doing intermittent fasting right now, and I have to make sure that I'm in my eating window, so the kids were coming to check on me. So again, it was like, okay, do you want to have my kids? Is it just couponing? Is it, because then I would get people that would say, Shakema, you need to just pick one genre. You just do grocery hauls or just budgets. You can't do everything. And I had to ask God, I said, okay, God, do I need to streamline my niche? One mom, 2 girls, 2 boys, 8 in all. I am one mom, and I do it all. I don't just grocery shop. I grocery shop. I do the bills. I work a job. YouTube is my side job. I'm in the ministry. I'm raising kids. I'm helping people. I'm out here doing ministry. You can't, okay, so once you get past that point where God is telling you, okay, this is what I want you to do, because there are times when I want to just do one thing, but I do all things over here at my house. Okay, can you talk about dating? Well, yeah, but I don't want people to be in my business about whether I'm dating or not, because people have opinions about whether you should date or not, or date when you have kids, or maybe you should wait till all your kids get 18 and leave the house. Like, are you waiting till your kids get 18 and leave the house? Because you dating? Oh, okay. So people have opinions, right? So you have to get released from people's opinions. That's one thing. That's another thing, right? You have to get released from people's opinions. If you can keep the focus of why you're doing the YouTube, what is the point or the purpose? I remember watching Sarah from Our Tribe of Many about 2 years ago. I could have my timeline wrong, and if I have my timeline wrong, I do apologize. But I remember her. I started watching her. She had about 12,000 subscribers at that time, and she said, we're giving it 1 year. In 1 year, if this doesn't do anything for us, we're gonna quit. And I remember her channel just blowing up. And I remember getting to a point in my life when I said, God, I'm gonna give it 1 year. And I said the same thing, 1 year. If this does not do what it needs to do, then I'm going to be done with it. Well, I didn't realize that God had a plan, right? I just didn't realize the plan, or maybe I was unaware that God wasn't going to give me the whole full plan. He was just going to give me a little bit at a time, and I was going to have to trust in the Lord with all my heart and all my mind, and lean out to my own understanding, right? I had to do all that. That's Matthew 3, 5, and 6. I had to do all that. It's my loose paraphrase. Y'all go look it up. But the Lord was only going to give me bits and pieces, right? Because I had been ordained by this time. I had heard the call of the ministry. I had heard the calling of the ministry. And I was in the ministry. I had not been ordained yet. I was in the ministry. I was in the training program. And I had been preaching, but then I wasn't preaching. And I thought the only way I could be a preacher, right? The only way you could be a preacher is if you preached in church. And so I remember one Sunday I was sitting in church. I was sitting on the front row because, look, Holy Spirit might come and fall. And if all the oil fall, I need to fall right. I'm going to be right up in the mix. You ain't going to find Shakema in the back. It's not going to happen. I'm going to be in the front. And if I have to fight you for a seat, it's just what it is. I mean, look, sis, square up. I'm just teasing. But I'm in the front. See where all the things is. I don't want to have to be watching other people, sleeping in church or whatever. So I always sit in the front. I will give up my seat if we have visitors. Don't worry. I will give it up. But I remember sitting in church feeling really bad about the fact that I hadn't preached in quite a while. And the Lord said to me, if you do not divorce yourself from the pulpit, you will not accomplish what I want you to accomplish in this world. And I'm sitting there in church staring at the pulpit that I know that's where I'm supposed to be, because that's where preachers are. Preachers preach in the pulpit. That is what I was raised in. That's what I know for my whole life. And he said to me, if you do not divorce this, you'll never do what I want you to do. And I said this to him in my mind because, of course, I was in church. I didn't talk out loud. I said, God, but I've already been divorced once, and I don't like how it feels. And he said again to me, if you do not divorce this, You will not do what I want you to do. And sitting in that chair at that moment on that Sunday, I had a decision, and I said, Lord, I release it. I release the pulpit into your hands. And immediately when I released that pulpit, the ministry started to open opportunities to go here and speak, to go there and speak, to do ministry online. That's when some of these videos, if you go to, I have a playlist called It's Bible Time, when I would just do little bits and pieces of Bible teaching. It's when the Lord allowed me to do that. I'd already been doing my main group, Daughters of Grace. We'd already been doing Daughters of Grace for several years at that time. And God was blessing that ministry, and there were people coming and lots of people joining us. And just within the last 3 years, I got ordained in January of 2020 before the shutdown. And in June of that year, the Lord told me to start Titus 2 Women, which that is my largest ministry. It's not my oldest ministry. So it's the largest group of women that we have. And another one of my ladies was saying how I needed to open that up. So Titus 2 Women, I'm just going to throw this in because it fits. Titus 2 Women is a group. Titus 2:3-5 says, and likewise the older women shall teach the younger women to be of sober mind, to be good wives, to be good mothers, right? In the verses ahead of that, it tells the men what to teach the men, and then 3-5 tells the older women what to teach the younger women, so that they will not be gossips, so they will not embarrass their husband, so they will keep talking when they should be quiet, all the things. That's what we're supposed to do. And it doesn't mean older in age. It means older in maturity or older in your walk with the Lord, in your faith journey. Doesn't mean because you got saved in 1972. It means if you are maturing in your faith and there is fruit on the vine, and we can see that there is a mature faith, then you are considered the older women. So I started doing all of that, and then the Lord really just opened up this platform for me to be able to share my life. When I started YouTube, it was coffee, Jesus, and coupons. That was what my platform was. I was always going to have coffee. Why are we changing it? Ain't changing it. I was always going to talk about Jesus. This cannot be if he did not give me the go ahead. It just couldn't be. And we were going to do coupons. Well, you've seen how the coupons have helped. We fed our family. We fed other families. We've given away the stockpile twice. God has replenished it again. We've gotten out of debt, and God has allowed us to do this, and he's allowed us to do that. But if you don't have a word of the Lord on this, I don't know. Well, I guess you could. For me, everything about my life is faith-filled. So for me, I needed to have a word of the Lord to start YouTube. This is very time-consuming. It's very labor intensive at times, depending on how long your vlogs are, or what you're trying to vlog, or if you're doing a review, or if you're going to do a sponsorship video, which I have yet to have a sponsorship video. I get lots of free stuff, but I've not had a sponsored video. But it has opened up friendships from all across the world. I have friends from everywhere. When I first started Titus 2 Titus 2 Women, let me get back to that for just 1 second. And if you have questions, pop them in. I'll be happy to answer those if I'm able at this point. When I first started Titus 2 Women, the Lord told me very specifically, he said, Shakema, I don't want you to ask one person that you know. He said, you are not allowed to invite one person from your church, not one person from your social media network in your area. He said, I only want you to open it to your YouTube ladies. And that's what he called you, my YouTube ladies. Me and God talk about y'all quite often. Or I ask God, okay, God, what do you want me to do here? Because I don't know, right? I can do a lot of things. I'm very capable, but I want to do nothing unless the Lord puts his hand on it. So when he told me that and he gave me the go ahead, it opened up. I had 100 women. I had 100 women respond to that they wanted to be a part of the group. We then were down to about, when we first started, I think we had about 68. Well, we had 100 women inquire. I had 88 women respond after I sent another response. We started with 68, and we average now about 30, 35, just depending on what study it is. Because my group is very open, we don't have rule. I mean, we have rules. Don't come up in there and start no problems, because we do not have problems. But there's no, you got to come every time. If you got stuff, go do your stuff. We'll see you next time. The only person that God said had to be there every week was me. He said, Shakema, if they don't come preach to the screen, I have almost had some opportunities to do that, but they do funnel in about 9. So, it's good. But it can be very labor intensive. I put my kids out on the internet. The Lord was okay with that. I was somewhere the other night, Sunday night, I was singing at a church with my group. And I'm coming off the stage, and this lady comes over to me. She's making a beeline. You can tell when people come to you because you can see them. They looking. And she said, is your last name Wilson? I said, yes, it is. She said, are you on Facebook? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I follow you. She said, I follow your reels. So I have to be prepared for getting stopped in Walmart. I know you. You're on YouTube. I'm like, oh, okay. I am. You have to be prepared for that. I was at the post office the other day, and I was waiting for Alana to check the P.O. box. Thank you so much for everybody that has sent Christmas cards. We really do appreciate that. And y'all, look at this. I went out the other day. I did not have earrings on. I looked at Jackson. I said, can you believe I walked out of the house without earrings? I feel very naked without my earrings and my watch. And I didn't have one earring. We go to the P.O. box, and there's a card from Kim. And there were a pair of earrings in there. So thank you, Kim. I really appreciate it. You saved me that day because I didn't feel so naked. And I've worn them several times since then. They're beautiful and I love them. But we're waiting for Alana to come back to the car so we can go wherever we were going. I don't remember where we were going. And a lady runs out. She's like, I love your Facebook. Just keep on with them. Just keep them reels coming. So you have to prepare yourself for that. You have to prepare yourself to be torn down, because people don't understand everything about your life. I had a lady that I ended up having to block her. I don't like to block people. That makes me feel a type of way, because I want you to have whatever opinion you want to have. And if we need to have a dialogue, I think that's okay. But when you accuse me of going to Cuba with my man and us sleeping together in a room, you got to be blocked, because I haven't had a man in 13 years. I went to Cuba with an elderly friend of mine who wanted a companion to go with her. And honestly, she didn't need me to go with her. She wanted me to have an experience. She said, Shakema, you've never been out of the country, and I want you to experience what that's like. Look at God. I'd already told the Lord years before I even met this lady, I'm never leaving this country, God. I am Team America. If you got any missions, it need to happen here, because I'm not leaving. And here's the Lord who brings over this person who says, I'm taking you out of the country. But when someone jumps in my comments and says, you're sleeping with your man and you went to Cuba with him, I'm like, ma'am, you must be blocked today. You have had opportunity after opportunity, because she would come with all kind of crazy stuff and I would just not, entertain it. But you cannot throw accusations over here. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared if people you don't want to see it. Almost everybody in my office follow me on social media. And so I have to be very upstanding and above board in what I share, because my social media has only grown because my YouTube has only grown because I've shared it on other platforms. Some people will never share on their other social platforms. And unless the Lord comes down and touch miraculously, it will not grow. We had a huge growth in September and November. And the only reason that happened is because the Lord told me to post a certain thing. I posted those 2 things he said, and we have now increased. We're at 39,000, I think, and we were at 13,000. So the Lord increased us by 26,000 in the last 3 months. 26,000, and I've been on YouTube since 2014, and I could not do it on my own. So you have to just prepare yourself for the work, right? You got to prepare to work and not get paid. I didn't get paid in the beginning, and then when I did start getting paid, it was on like $100 or $300. I think the most money we'd ever made was like $300. I think 2 years ago we made our largest amount, which was a little bit over 1,000. This month we made 900 and some change, but it's flexible variable income, and you're working really hard in order to get that income. The other thing is, it's not easy. It's just not easy to do. You have to forsake going out with your friends. Sometimes you have to work late at night. People like, Shakema, how do you do it? I just stay up late. I stay up late. Sometimes I'm editing midnight, 1 a.m. Well, not now, but back a little while back because I just, if I can't post, I can't post, right? I have a Vlogmas video that's supposed to go out very soon, and I haven't gotten it set up yet, but I'm going to get it. I promise y'all. But again, you know, that, and then you have to be okay with what people say, and then be okay with community. I have been so blessed by the women who have surrounded me within my community, and I'm so very thankful that they are here. There are some women that we speak every day. There's some women that we get together in the groups, or we meet on Sunday nights in the virtual group. They have my number. I have their number. I haven't really made a lot of YouTube friends. Tangie's my friend. Amanda Beal's my friend. Tony at Tony's Kettle Kitchen is my friend. Those are my YouTube friends, I think, that I know that will chat with me. I've chatted with Sarah over at Our Tribe of Many. We love their family. I've chatted with her a time or two. And so, you know, you can't get attached to people because people are fickle, and they will be with you 1 minute and not with you the next minute. As long as you're doing what they feel is right for you, they're with you. And when you do things that you feel is right for you, they may not be with you. So again, you have to determine what works for you, your family, your life, that type of situation. So, you know, for me, it's worth it. I enjoy. And one more thing, let me just say this because I want to add this in. When I didn't have anybody, when my circle got really small and it was just me, the Lord gave me this. He gave me this to nurture. He gave me this to love. I'm a woman by nature. I nurture. So he gave me this to work. He gave me this platform to grow. He gave me this so that I could go back and look at the older videos and see how much we have grown. My kids and I. Some of you have watched Jackson grow up. Did y'all hear his voice? Jackson used to be like, "Sure, Mom. Whatever, Mom. No problem, Mom." He was on the video the other day and he's like, "Ma'am." I'm like, wait, what? What? It's my kid, right? So y'all have watched my kids grow up, and I do appreciate that. So you got to have, you know, some staying power. You don't get in if you think it's going to just be viral tomorrow. It's not. But it has the potential to be if God so chooses. So I've just listened to the Lord and done what God has asked me to do. It has garnered some favorable results on our end. And I just pray that the Lord would continue to grow us. My next goal is 50,000. And I'm prayerful that the Lord will allow us to meet that goal. And we'll see. We just keep on keeping on, right? So anywho, there it is. I wanted to answer that question. I will be coming back on later to do one more question. I actually should have done that question first, but about 8:30 or 9 because I don't have anywhere to go and I don't have any groups tonight. So I will come back on a little bit later to do one more question that I think you will want to hear. So if you are able, join me later. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to eat before my eating window closes. And we thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see y'all later. Bye now.